Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Wellness Wednesday. I've got two super exciting guests coming up on the show today. We have Giselle of Project Ajna, who is a psychic, a tarot card reader, also a Reiki master as well. So she's going to be our first guest joining us today and giving us an exciting energy forecast for the month of July. I'm super excited. I'm also a psychic card reader, so I love having guests on the show where we can get witchy and magical. So we're going to have Giselle coming in for us soon. We also have DJ Roxx, and she's going to be coming on and telling us all about her female DJ collective and how she's getting girls into music at the moment, which is going to be super, super epic. You may recognize Kyrstal Roxx from DJing at some of our own Morning Gloryville events as well. So thank you for joining us today, guys. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about what we're going to be up to at the weekend as well. So there's no official Morning Gloryville rave this weekend. However, we are going to be at the Great Feast of London. Ooh, what is the Great Feast of London, I hear you ask? It's an online celebration of all things awesome about the city. There's going to be music, wellness, games and dance, and Morning Gloryville are going to be there Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. hosting a sober rave that's going to come to you from the comfort of your own living room. All you need to do is get over to the Great Feast of London and grab your ticket and join us. We can't wait to see you there. Okay, whilst I wait for Giselle to arrive, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who came to our Pride party on Saturday. Everyone had super amazing outfits, and I loved seeing everyone joining in at home, so thank you for coming. I don't want to jump into a practice just in case Giselle pops in the middle. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Great Feast of London and how you can get involved as well. Giselle is going to be there with us in the wellness area, and she's going to be running a journaling class as well, which is one of the magical things she offers. So you can also meet Giselle there as well as here. How exciting. I'm still waiting for her, so we'll do something else. Okay, I know what I'm going to do with you guys today. We are going to call forth the energy we want for the rest of the month. We're halfway through the year, guys. Well done. Well done for making it this far. It has been a ride. It has been a ride, and we're still here, so congratulations. So what I'd like you to do is close down your eyes. And I just would like for you to take a second to ground in and acknowledge that we are officially halfway through this year. It's officially the first day of July. I'd like for you to feel into and give yourself full permission to allow yourself to bring in any feelings you would like for the rest of the year, starting with the month ahead. What would you like July to be filled with? Maybe it's new romance. Maybe it's increased opportunities for your work or business. Maybe it's new friends. Now lockdown's starting to lift and we can all get outside. Maybe it's moving house. Just would like for you to breathe in and visualize all the things that you would love to happen and come into your life over the next month. Breathing them into your body and exhale. And again, breathing in all of these new experiences, choices, way of beings, upgrades, expansion and creativity, and really feeling all these new things you want for yourselves in your body. Perhaps you're feeling a sensation as a tingle in your fingers or toes. Perhaps you're noticing as that energy enters your field, your shoulders get wider. Breathing them in. And now I'd like for you to take yourself to the end of July in your head, in your visualization. And I'd like you to look back on the month you've just had, all the things you've brought in, the friendships, the money, the love, the home, whatever it is your heart desires. As you look back, feeling proud of all you've achieved, I'd like you to slowly open your eyes, bring yourself back to your body by perhaps giving your legs a bit of a squeeze. And I'd like for you to write down the things you want for July as if they've already happened. So for example, if it's a new house, you can say, oh, I loved moving into my new house in July. The room was perfect. My housemates were amazing. You know, if it's your new business, then writing down what you achieved in July in your business, how much money you made. If it's a new relationship you want in your life, then writing that down as well. How it feels to meet this person, the things you've done in July together. And anything else that you feel like you want to achieve in this month, but write it down in past tense as though it's already happened. So, I met the love of my life at a barbecue at a friend's house. He or she is perfect. We've already gone on adventures to the seaside together. I've had such a great month with him. Or I've met some new soulmate friends. They've been supporting me at my women's circles. I've been having such a great time with these new friends. They feel like I've known them forever. That can be one example. And when you finished writing down all the things that are going to happen in July, I'd like for you to put it in your wallet or on an altar, or put it somewhere that you can keep for the next month. And then I'd like you to set a reminder on your phone or your laptop to take a look at this list on the 31st of the month or the 1st of August. And then I'd love for you to tag me at Morning Gloryville, at Tania Rose Willis, at Morning Gloryville, and let us know if they came true. I would love that. Thank you. So our next guest, Kyrstal Roxx. You may recognise her from some Morning Gloryvilles. You may recognise her from the dance floor. And she is joining us today. I believe from her walk in London, that's what she told me, she's going to be getting outdoors. So she is DJ and founder of something called We Are Superfoxx. And that's a collective of female talent where she teaches women how to DJ, as well as she hosts parties and she mentors women in music as well, for them to get lots of great opportunities like she has. So she's not only a party starting superstar, she's also someone who's super passionate about, well, she can actually tell you because she's here now. Hello, Kyrstal.
Hello, mate. How are you? Oh my God. Are you recording the whole screen?
Yes.
Is this going out like this? Oh my goodness.
That's all right. You're a performer. You're good at spontaneous improvisation.
Angel woman, I'm literally gonna call you back then in 5 minutes. Is that all right?
Okay.
I've just got to run into a supermarket and I'm coming out.
Okay, yep. If you can do that as quickly as possible.
Perfect.
I've got someone else coming on at 2:30.
Perfect. Give me five.
Okay.
Love you, bye. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. So that was briefly Kyrstal introducing herself. So you guys may have seen her performing at Morning Gloryville. She's done quite a few of our events now. And like I said, she's super passionate about mentoring women in music as well. So whilst we wait for her to finish her supermarket shop, what can I do with you guys? I'm very passionate about providing you guys with as much wellness as possible on a Wednesday. So let me just tune in. Okay, I've got a great practice for you. What I would love for everyone at home to do is tune into their tummies or their womb space. For men, this is the hara, and this is just below our belly button, this area. And I'd like for you to place your hands on this area, and I'd like you to tune in and see what this area of your body wants, because this is our emotional center, and any desire, emotion, request that comes from this space is more connected to our emotional body rather than coming from our head and what we think we want. It's coming from our body and allowing our body to have a voice and tell people what it is our bodies really want. So I'd love for you all just to take a moment to tune into this part of your body. You can place your hands on it, just tune in and ask, what does my body want today? Okay, mine was quite funny. My body says, Tania, I want to play. You're always working. You're being so serious. I want us to do something totally unrelated to work together. So that is what I'm going to be doing today after I finish work. I think I'm going to put some good tunes on, have a dance. I've got a few birthday parties coming up this weekend, so I'm going to start creating and making presents. Have 3 people's birthday on one day. So I've got a lot to get organised for. So I'd love to know as well, if you guys can drop below in the comments, what request came from tuning into your body and if it surprised you. I would love to know. And we're going to do that exercise again, but this time we're going to tune into our hearts and see what our heart's desire is. So if you can place both hands on your heart for me, And I just would like you to breathe into this space and exhale. Just start to tune in to any subtle whispers or nuances that are coming from this space. What does your heart want today? Hmm. Okay, so my heart told me it wants me to call someone and tell them that I love them, and also go for a run and work out and not do any exercise that follows a program or is too rigid or anything like that. So I'd love to know what your heart said to you. If you can drop it in the comments box below. And I'd love for you to also be aware of what our emotional center wants and what our heart wants and the difference between them. And anytime you're having trouble making a decision and you've got too many options going on in your head and you're like, oh, which one should I choose? Tuning into these centers, if it's a decision you want to make from your heart or from your womb and your emotional center and your truth, are really great ways to come up with an answer or an idea, or just to listen to our bodies from a deep place of understanding, rather than getting too tied up in what our head thinks or wants us to do. Okay, it seems like Kyrstal is still doing her shopping. So I think I'll probably take you guys through another practice. What I'm feeling to do actually is, next we have a tarot card reader on, called Giselle from Project Ajna. And oh no, we've got Kyrstal. Kyrstal's here, this is exciting. At last, she's here!
I'm so sorry. We are en route to Happy Valley. So it's very apt that we talk to you today.
Awesome. I love your purple jumper. That's beautiful.
Thank you, darling. It's a bit of the old lilac love. Look at you with your gorgeous glitter.
Thank you. Are you driving and speaking to me at the same time?
Correct. My friend is driving. She's
okay.
politely asked me not to put her on.
Okay, as long as you're not driving, that's okay.
I'm not driving. That would be too much multitasking even for me.
Great. I'm pleased I can relax a little knowing that you've only got your eyes on one thing.
Yeah, for sure. They're just on you, darling girl. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you.
Good.
How are you today?
So well, so well.
Great. I was wondering if you could start by introducing yourselves and telling everyone about who you are and what you do that may not already know you.
Sure thing. I'm Kyrstal Roxx, DJ and producer, presenter. I can juggle. And I'm coming to you live for Morning Gloryville, who I just adore so much, and have played for many times and have had some of my most favorite shows ever for. I love them.
Awesome. Which one was your favorite?
Oh gosh, I warmed up for Fatboy Slim at Oval Space about 4 or 5 years ago now, and it was unbelievable. He's my ultimate DJ, and that on top of the fact that it was a sober rave at 10 o'clock in the morning with 5,000 people and broad daylight, nothing but incredible music and great energy and just an explosion of sounds. I thought the roof was going to fly off the place. It was just electric. So that's a hard one to beat for me, but yeah.
Life can't really get any better than that. But tell us a little bit about, that was quite a few years ago now.
Yeah.
What are you up to right now? What does your work look like now?
Well, we've just released a new record called Lab. It's a first of a 4-track EP, and the purpose is music to motivate. So I like to bring the energy in my DJ sets and really uplift people's spirits and their mood with music. And the EP reflects that. So it's called Lab. So it's an opportunity for you to get in the lab and work on yourself. And yeah, it's a great thing. It's like 4 dance records that we've worked on, me and a friend of mine. And they're like tech house records, really great vibes, just massive energy, big builds and drops. Works amazingly in a club, but as we can't be in the club right now, we are gonna, enjoy it in all the other ways we can. And for me, music is like the best thing with a workout as well. When you get the music right to fit the workout, it's like, you can work just like a huge amount harder. And it's just much more enjoyable. So yeah, this EP is about motivating your workout.
Amazing. And tell me about your journey into wellness.
My journey into wellness, I started as a professional dancer. Well, I didn't start professional. I worked up to professional, but I started as a pro dancer in theatre. And yeah, so that was my kind of into fitness. Although I've always danced and loved music, and I didn't really realize it, but music was the common thread throughout everything that I did. So it was a natural progression into DJing. And I started in the clubs and pubs and bars of London, and then I auditioned for Ministry of Sound, and I went on tour for them and did some my big residence everywhere. I went to Brazil, went to South Africa, toured India. It was amazing. And it was as a result of doing shows like that I really found gratitude for travel and to be able to see the world from that perspective, really, as a musician and as a woman. It gave me really great insight into what was happening globally for women. So then I set up a company called Superfoxx, which is a movement to empower women and female identifying people around the world through music.
Amazing.
It's been busy, babe.
That sounds like you got on a magic carpet ride of global movement dancing fun. And
yeah, I did. And I hope I'll stay on it forever.
Well, now it's in a car, but that's okay. And tell me more about this female music empowerment collective you've set up. Like, how does it work? Who do you work with? Who can get involved?
Yeah, Superfoxx is a collective of women doing things that they're passionate about. So it's music driven. It's an event. So at the moment, we obviously aren't doing any live events, but we have a radio show on a Friday night with Soho Radio where we interview women in different industries. So always a musician and one of our female DJs. We have an agency of talent that we send out for jobs and shows. And then we show their guest mixes on the radio, and then we team them up with a female artist. We've been very blessed in lockdown. We've had Lola Lennox, we've had Stella Santana, Emily Sandé, Heather Small, and they've all just come on board and really shared their inspirations and their experiences as women in music. And then we also team together social change and wellness. So a woman doing something, a friend of mine, Anita Mitra, Zoe Williams, doctors who have really handled COVID-19 firsthand. And they're also big into their wellness as well. So Anita loves to lift, and Zoe, same deal, and she's also a runner. And just amazing perspective from these stories that don't often get told from women who are doing something that they're really passionate about. And almost always the road has never been easy, but it's in those challenges that we really create an inspiring environment for the next generations, and in fact, you know, every woman to follow a path that they feel passionate about.
Wow, amazing. You've gone from like touring with Ministry of Sound to getting up on the mic and speaking for the UN there. That's quite a gear shift. I was like, oh,
I'm not sure it's quite UN. I'm just a DJ. But yeah, we can it's the power of music, and we know this from Morning Gloryville, and I will be forever grateful for that, for this family and movement, because it is really through creating environments to uplift people and to really take them higher through music that you can create social change and in fact change within yourself. It's really about localizing it, and especially now with COVID, you know, with this lockdown environment that we're all in, and being able to tap into something that's more truthful and simple. It's available to us all, woman, man, otherwise, however you identify, you know, it's available within us, that truth. And really, music's just a great way of making it, frankly, a bit more fun.
And do you do mentorship as well in that collective?
We do, yeah. We mentor in a way through the interviews. So that's the first thing we do, like sharing that knowledge, gets passed down to the next generation. We go into schools and communities, and in a live format, those women go in and run workshops with their chosen skills. So always wellness, music. We always take in a little DJ set up, give girls a chance to DJ and get on the decks.
Amazing.
And yeah, often with music, and that's the start. And through that, we'll have a nutritionist, someone in politics, our amazing, I call her our political correspondent, Julia Bell. She does a roundup of global politics and more localized politics, and you know, other stuff, fashion, food, anything that a woman is doing that, you know, that something she's passionate about, we'll share that information.
Cool. So who's it for, and how do people get involved in this if they're like, oh, I'm a female in wellness or music and I want some support? Can anyone drop you an email, or how does it work?
Anyone can drop us an email, and we never turn away boys. It's just that this really is to meet a more equal footing. It really is about creating opportunities for women, to lift them up. There's just less opportunities across the board for women generally. So the mission here is to give more paid opportunities, certainly to girls and female identifying. So you can always drop us a line, VIP@Superfoxx with 2x's.com, or, you know, send us messages on Instagram, Twitter, and me directly at Kyrstal Roxx. And if there's something you're passionate about, we will find that route for you. We'll find the person who is championing it or working in that industry. And you can join us down at the DJ Academy, which is in East London. And you can get on the decks and have a practice and a play and bring your friends. And, you know, there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just so great to bring the music that you love and work out ways of playing it. It's really empowering. So you can just come and join us at the school.
Amazing. And what are you offering at the moment, or what have you got on at the moment in terms of wellness or music?
Well, right now you can join us every morning at 8 o'clock in the morning for Go With The Flow, which is a 30-minute free-flowing movement available to anybody and everyone on Instagram every day at 8 a.m. for free.
Is that your Instagram?
That's on my Instagram. Yeah, I take that. And we use the Superfoxx playlist to you know, the flow to music for really long. And you know, it's the one thing that's free of charge, that's with you from the day you're born to the day you die. So it's really important that you check in with your breath. So we start and we finish with that. There's a mantra throughout, and yeah, it's just a way of using your body. So there's no pressure, there's no expectations. We just encourage you to come and sit on the mat and join in with as much or as little as you want to do. Listen to the banging tunes. So there's that. There's a radio show on Friday nights with Soho Radio, where you can check in and listen to some inspiring women talk about wellness, music, and social change, and banging tunes. and a series of workouts with Ibiza Rocks, which is where we had our beautiful residency last year. And we have a series of workout mixes that are available for free to download on to stream on SoundCloud. And I've done 4 of the workouts. So they are HIIT workouts that are just body weight, high intensity workouts. And I'll teach you the Running Man in one of them. So stay tuned for that. And then we've partnered with another 3 awesome female fitness trainers, and they've come on board and done their workouts in a mix. So there's an awful lot. There's workout mixes, actual workouts, playlists, yoga every day, and the interviews every week, which are all built to empower, educate, and inspire.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing all of that, Kyrstal. I'm going to have to go over to my next guest now because she's arrived, but I'll encourage everyone to tune into your Instagram channel, and hopefully they can find all the information for that on there.
Thank you so much, my love.
Thank you.
Nice
Have a
to
lovely
see
day.
your gorgeous golden face. Enjoy your day too.
You too. Bye.
Take care. Bye, darling.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, sorry to keep you waiting.
Okay, how are you?
I'm really well, thanks, Giselle. How are you today?
Good, really, really good.
I love how beautiful and monochrome your space is. It's so like well styled.
Yeah, it's really on brand. I feel like I've mirrored my business to it.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. So obviously I know who you are, but the people who are watching at home may not know who you are. So if you could just introduce yourself and what you do.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Giselle. I'm the founder of Project Ajna. I guess within that umbrella, I'm a space holder and a spiritual guide. So I do tarot with my clients. I do meditation, and I'm also a Reiki master. So across the mystical spectrum, I guess is what I do.
Amazing. And I first crossed paths with you when we both worked at Stylist about 4 years ago. And I was so happy when I saw you. Where did I see you? At the wellness official meetup. And I was like, amazing. We both had a similar career change. But how, like, what's been your journey into wellness? And perhaps you've been doing this longer than I think.
Yeah, I guess it really started when I was like 6 years old, believe it or not.
Wow.
But I was clairvoyant when I was from like the age of 6, so that's when I first like realized that I had that gift. I would have lots of visions and like premonitions in dreams, and it was really overwhelming because I was so young, and I grew up in like the Catholic Church, so I wasn't going to tell everyone about it. So I told like my mum, and she was really supportive. She had no idea what to do about it, neither did I. But she was just kind of like, just keep telling me when you feel stuff, when you see stuff. And I guess like my want or my desire to serve and to help people is also around the same time. I started I started at St. John's Ambulance when I was like 7.
Wow.
And they had this little thing called like St. John's Ambulance badges, and we learned like first aid, and we used to go to like the marathons, and I would wrap people up in foil, and it was like my favorite thing to do. But I was 7 years old. And then I think it kind of just like, I would never say like you don't have the ability anymore, you don't have the gift. I think it just like slipped away as I got older, and I found like boys and makeup and Topshop, so I got really distracted. And I think when I was around 15, I started to do more of my own rituals. So I got really into like witchcraft and mysticism, and I was doing my own spells and trying to like manifest a lot. And I think I was just in like the little witch closet for a really long time. So when we met, I was like heavily in the witch closet. Then I just got to that point. It was near my Saturn return when I was 28. I was just like, I can't. This is not my life. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. So I had a huge like 180, and then I launched my business then. So yeah, wild ride.
Amazing. So you went from that's. Oh, I'm just seeing like 7-year-old Giselle like wrapping people up in foil. And what did that have to do with your psychic gifts? Were you using that when you were volunteering?
No, not really. I think it was just like that at the same kind of time I was having lots of these dreams, and I was also being pulled to helping people.
Okay.
I don't think I really had any idea that they were linked. And I don't think I really had any idea of what to do with that, or what it was, or what it was called. So it's only like now, like in hindsight, looking back, I'm just like, oh, I guess it was always a part of my life in some way.
Wow, so it's almost as if you started your career between the ages of 6 and 7 and had a lengthy sabbatical.
I mean, the most lengthy sabbatical, and I think also when you're I worked in fashion and beauty for over a decade, and in some ways it's kind of like my spiritual tools that just helped me to survive it, because it was such, as you know, a full-on crazy industry. So I think I really was able to use like my meditation practices and all my well-being tools to really help to support me through it. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have managed to get through it.
Amazing. And tell me a bit about like your business, because when I first met you, I don't want to take the words out of your mouth, but when I first met you, I'm actually just going to let you talk about it, because you'll explain it way better than me. I'm just going to let you.
It's like the main like undercurrent is that I just want to help support people through like their various life experiences and changes. Like, to me, spirituality is like, yes, there's definitely like periods of enlightenment in everyone's lives, but actually it's like the way we show up for ourselves every single day and how we can like navigate whatever life throws at us. So my goal with my clients is to help them to create a spiritual practice for themselves, to understand spirituality so they're using it in everyday life. So we're not promised like this great, comfortable, lovely life all the time. Like sometimes there's some crazy stuff that happens. Like this year is such an example of that. So I kind of want them to have this like foundation level of, oh, I have these like tools and rituals I can come back to every day when I'm kind of like being pulled into something. So whether that is through a tarot reading or it's through one of my Reiki courses or a Reiki session, that's always the goal. It's kind of like to help them to come back home to themselves and to like find their inner mystic.
Amazing. Because I remember when I asked you about it, you said you specialized in skin healing. That was what I wanted to ask you about. And I was like, I'm sure you can put it into words better than me.
Yeah, so I guess like on my website, when I talk about my business, like you come to me for like skin stuff or soul stuff. So the soul stuff is just like, you know, your life experiences and changes, and also within that comes skin and appearance. So I guess like my original thinking from the beginning was that I had such experience in beauty, and as part of that I was hearing so many women say that I just don't feel at home in my skin. I'm struggling with the way that I look, or if they've had, you know, a condition like acne or psoriasis or dermatitis, really struggling to accept that and how they can move through it, because it can have such a huge impact on your emotional and mental well-being. So I wanted to use spirituality because I believe you can use it for everything, to really help people to get to that place of acceptance and finding peace the way they looked. So yeah, it was like a really nice angle, and I still have clients today who come to me for like navigating the skin issues, because it's never like, you know, just about skin in a bubble. There's always, when we do the work together, when we do our sessions, there's other reasons behind it that we can look at as a whole. So I think it's just tying into balance, you know, your physical self, your emotional, mental and spiritual selves.
Amazing. And what do you find are the most common things people come to you with, and how you end up helping them?
I think there's a lot of uncertainty about what's next. Which my clients always laugh, because they always come to me with that same question of like, I'm just really stressed about what's happening next. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what's happening next. Like, I'm not a fortune teller. And it's because, you know, we're co-creating our future right now. So the goal is always kind of like to help them to release needing to know what's next, and to release like the pressure of like this thing that may or may not happen. And how can we just be really deeply tethered to the present moment? And how can we just work with what's here? Because what's here is going to lead you to what's next. So we spend a lot of time working on the present moment. It's probably, you know, the focus of all of my sessions. Like, let's look at what's showing up for you. And then we can start to intentionally create an aligned future.
That's amazing. That's a really good way of phrasing it, because yeah, when I do readings, people are like, oh, I want to know what's happening in future. But yeah, I do a similar thing, guiding people as to what's obvious right now, thread they want to follow. But that's a really great way of reframing about how the answers are really all in the present. And choosing the aligned step can bring the right path in future. And I asked you earlier if you'd be able to share something really exciting with us today, which is your energy predictions for July.
Yeah, I pulled, so at the beginning of every month, I pull some cards to like share with my audience. So the way that I do is I just kind of ask like 3 questions, and one is like, what's in the space right now, as that's always going to be the best indication of like what we should be taking through the rest of the month. inspired action from spirit, and then also just like a final message from spirit on July and what we're being called to step into. So I'll show you the cards that I pulled this morning. So this first one's about just like what's here right now, and I have the Emperor card. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, these are like very cool branded ones.
Yeah,
what
really
deck is this?
These are a deck by Jericho Mandiba and called Neo Tarot. They're really, really cool.
Neo Tarot.
Neo Tarot, yeah, really cool. And I think also what I love about the cards is that the imagery, there's so many people who are left out of the traditional tarot cards, depending on your ethnicity or your gender or how you represent and identify. So she's got a really inclusive deck, which is why I use it quite a lot in my readings.
Is that what Neo Tarot is? I just haven't heard
yeah,
of
that. It's just her philosophy, and I guess it's based on her own interpretation of the cards. So the imagery is very similar to the original Rider-Waite cards, but it's just like the way the characters are styled just is a bit more modern, a bit more up to date. So I think it makes people who are a bit scared that they can't see themselves in the card to help them to be more comfortable. So the Emperor is like the what's here card. The Emperor is all about power and leading. So really being called as a collective to just take up some more space. I think we've had such a rocky start to the year that we're at this like middle point of the year where it's like, well, how do you want to end the year? Because we can't control what's happening outside. We can always control what's happening in here. So like, what do we want to do with that inner power that we have? How can we really reclaim that and start to just like glow up a bit? It's definitely like a glow up season card. And I think people have some real discomfort around power because we always like link power to patriarchy and to capitalism and really like big power structures, when actually like you can have power in such a beautiful, sacred, spiritual way. And you can lead from that place. And I always like to liken this card, the Emperor, to Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, because she does have so much power, but she's leading with such this beautiful softness and compassion. And that's like a huge way that we can all, you know, step into our own power by still being compassionate about the people around us. So power is a really big one. I think it's really asking us to focus in on the work that lights us up, how we can take up space and not worry that other people won't be able to take up space if we do. There's space for everyone. And as a collective, if we can all tap into that, then like that's how we can create some changes. Then I have inspired action, which is the Four of Pentacles.
Cool.
So the action that we're being called to take is to use our boundaries a bit more. And I think we all tend to do things out of like, oh, I should do this or I shouldn't do that, like out of that obligatory sense. And the Four of Pentacles is just asking us to work out, okay, what are we open for right now? Sometimes in the month, we're just not open to being around a ton of people, or we're just like wanting to be a bit more quiet with ourselves. So this card is like internal inquiry over, okay, well, what do you need right now? Maybe it's like saying to somebody, actually, I'm not really available for this. I don't really have space or capacity to like hold you right now, but I do have capacity for like somebody else or a different group of people. So this card's like, how can we just take some space? Because as the first card shows, if we're being called to like step into our power and to embody that, then we need to nourish ourselves as we do that. We need to look after ourselves and to take, you know, little moments of pause and rest and be able to like say to people and express that need to, yeah, I can't really do this right now for you. And that's just like the best way that we can caretake ourselves right now. And then the last card, which is just like a message from spirit for the month, is the Eight of Swords. So the imagery is really powerful here. As you can see that the character's almost, she's got like her arms tied and she's got the swords all behind her. So she looks like she's a bit stuck when actually she can, yeah, pretty stuck. But actually she can step out of the card at any moment. Her feet are not tied. So this is all about freedom and how we can free our minds. And there's, I think J. Cole, like another artist, did a song, it's called Free Your Mind and like everything else will follow. That's like the definition of this card. It's really about how can we free our brains from the stories of, you can't do this, this is not okay for you to do this, like we're stuck, we're caught, we're trapped, we can't move. How can we start to work on that brain story? Because it's not true, it's not fact. There's always a way we can like step out of that card and step out of the brain story. So it's asking us all to think about if we've ever said, this isn't possible for me to do this. It's like, you know, we've all had those really big gigs or those opportunities and we're like, I'm too scared, I can't do that. And it's like, yeah, you can, like you're free to move, you're free to walk and free to accept it. And if we're all being called into our power and to saying really big yeses to the universe, then we have to free ourselves from the thinking that says that we can't do that. I think overall, I think the main messages are like, there's a big self-care piece in terms of like boundaries of self-care. We can't like hold space of people who don't understand our boundaries. We have to still be able to give them, and take moments when we need to like be a bit more quiet and a bit more introspective. And then it's like, yeah, just like working on those brain stories that say to us that you can't do something, because we can. We're all being called to step up into the Emperor card in July. So hopefully there'll be lots of big energy for us to move into.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That really resonated about your mind as the only one that's limiting you stepping into those awesome opportunities that may be coming your way. So thank you for sharing that. And you're going to be running a workshop at the Great Feast of London this weekend, aren't you? So can you tell us more about that and how people can get tickets and what time and day you're going to be on?
Yes, so I'm doing a session on Saturday, 4th of July from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. I'm doing a guided journaling session, as journaling is probably the one tool that has like changed my entire life, and you just need a pen and paper for it. So it's always very helpful. So I'm going to do a guided journaling session. It's going to be about coming back home to yourself. So Psyche Wellness focused on this trifecta of yourself, the community, and the earth. So I'm really tapping into how you can come back home to yourself first. Then it can start to reverberate out into your community, and then in turn the world around you. So we're talking a little bit about that and how you can use your knowing, have some foundational tools and practices to come back home to yourself and to really use your knowing a bit more. And then we'll spend some time doing some journaling together. So I'll just be like reading out some journal prompts, and then as a collective, we'll be answering those questions together in our journals. Journaling is just such a beneficial practice. I think it will really help to kind of get energized and grounded for the day. And then we'll also be doing some meditation and some stillness, which is really accessible for everyone to join in. So I think tickets should be available on greatfeast.com. And there's like an Eventbrite link to sign up for my session for free.
Amazing. Thank you. So your session's going to be just after Morning Gloryville doing their wake up dancing, morning rave. So everyone can go for a little dance, and then they can get focused by going to your session as well. So awesome. And for everyone who's watching at home, how can people work with you on a one-to-one basis, and what are you offering right now?
So I do, I call them like Dial and Mystic tarot readings. I remember when I was younger, I used to always see like on the train or in newspapers, like the call up a mystic. So I offer my tarot readings over the phone and on WhatsApp, as I want them to be really accessible for everyone to be able to access it. As I know it can be really scary to book in for like your first tarot reading. There's always like so much hearsay around what the cards mean. Like there's never any bad cards. They're just all like opportunities for us to step into something. So I do those over WhatsApp and on the phone. You can book those from my website. I do like 3-hour sessions called the Hangout, which are on Zoom. And 3 hours? Pardon? 3 hours, yeah. It's like a super deep healing dive. So it's kind of like when we just bring an issue to the table, like something you're struggling with or navigating or in need of healing. And we'll spend a bunch of time talking. We'll also do different healing tools. So whether that is energy healing, we might do some tarot. It's just really free, and it depends on what you're working through. In my last session, we did some cord cutting. Someone who's holding a lot of energy over like one of their ex-partners. So we did a lovely cord cutting ritual together. So it can be a real mix. So whatever you bring to me is like what we'll work through together. And then I have like some online offerings, which are my daily activation, which is just like a 12-minute morning practice and evening practice of journaling and stillness. So if you're looking for just like an everyday tool to kind of like help you to maintain your spiritual practices, that one's a really great one as well.
Amazing. And how do people get to that one?
So that's on my website as well. So it's like on projectajna.com.
Okay, awesome. And what does Ajna mean?
So it's Sanskrit for the third eye chakra. And the third eye chakra is all about intuition, perception, and I guess like that's the biggest, foundation for all of my work, is just kind of coming home to that and to really be able to like see the world through the lens of your intuition, because that's kind of like our biggest guidance point. So we can only really find that in a mystic when we tap into that space and to open up our third eye a bit.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Giselle. I feel like that was a lot of great guidance. That was so compact. I feel like you've got a real gift of explaining very spiritual concepts in a very like concise way.
I think it's like to get really confused. Because I used to read a lot of books when I was quite young on spirituality. I was like, I don't understand what any of this means, but I would love one day to make it a bit more accessible for people to get involved with. So there's not really fair to like do it a new thing. So I think the more we can make it super down to earth and practical, the more people that can benefit from it.
And lastly, what's your daily wellness practice?
So yeah, in the mornings, I always do my daily activation. So 12 minutes of journaling and meditation. Then I always do yoga every day. Sometimes twice a day if I'm really feeling called to open my hips a bit more. I will do some self-Reiki in the evening. I tend to do lots of like really bite-sized pieces. I'll do like longer, like hour or 2 hour rituals, like on full moon or the new moon. But for me, it's like, how can I make it just like an ongoing practice? So I guess like throughout the day, so like before we jumped on for the interview, I just did like a heart space check-in. So I just like put my hands on my chest, on my heart, and just breathe for a few seconds and just ask myself, like, how can I serve you today? And just like having that ongoing check-in with my body is really helpful for me.
Amazing. And we've got a full moon coming up this weekend, so I anticipate you'll probably be doing some kind of ritual around that.
Yeah, and I think it's nice to I think it can be really overwhelming when you just get into spirituality, because there's always like so much to do, but I love to like break up, you know, the everyday stuff to when I want to have a really beautiful longer ceremony or a ritual. So it feels like everyone can kind of get involved depending on how much time they have.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I've really enjoyed talking to you and hearing about your July reading. It's definitely given me something to think about. And I really want to check out your 12-minute journaling prompt as well.
Yeah, I feel like it's because all my clients always have so many excuses for why they don't meditate or why they don't have any stillness. And like, you've got 12 minutes. Everyone's got 12 minutes. We can always find time for 12 minutes. So it feels like a more of a bite-sized mini stillness practice.
Definitely. I can't wait to get involved. Well, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you as part of the online Great Feast of London Festival at the weekend. And just seeing more of what you deliver with your business, because I feel like it's always growing and you seem to have evolved it so much as well since I first checked in with you about it.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's all right. Thank you for coming on, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, bye. Bye. So those were our lovely guests for Wellness Wednesday today. So I'm going to leave that there for you because I feel like there was lots of juice in there. You had some embodiment practices from me. You had a July energy reading from Giselle, and she's given you lots of awesome resources you can use as well, like her 12-minute journaling practices, which are all on her website. And I'm going to put everyone's social links and website links in the comments section below as well, so you can access everyone after today's show. If you would like to be on Wellness Wednesday, if you are a wellness practitioner and would love to share yourself and your talents and skills with the community, make sure you get in touch by DMing me at Tania Rose Willis or at Morning Gloryville, and I would love to have you on. So happy 1st of July, everyone. I hope you take care of yourselves today and this month, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye.